I'm driving my husband's studio today for the sake of this awesome event. So thank you so much for your patience. I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you. We're so happy to have you here, sister. Absolutely.
Thank you. So you want me to dive right in? Do you want to, is there any place you want me to start? What would you
Well,
like?
yeah, I'd love to do this. I'm so glad that we're finally got all this. I love that background. Amber, you and I have not had the pleasure to meet each other yet.
That's
So
right.
I'm gonna hijack it. I want to know about you, sister. I want to know
Oh my gosh.
about Mass AI. I want to know how you got into AI. I want to know your journey.
Thank
Tell
you.
me, lay it out on me, sister. This is
Your
your
energy's amazing, Haley.
Oh, right back at you, sister.
Thank you.
Love it. Yeah.
Tobin's awesome. Great studio, Amber's hubby. I see some familiar faces. Good to see you guys. Excited to meet everyone new. My husband and I have been in the high ticket coaching space for maybe close to 4 years now. And before that, we were in the lower ticket, like membership space. We met back in 2015. We got our footprint online. And then just like so many amazing entrepreneurs, we kind of got smacked in the face a little while later. Like, you don't know what you don't know. Like, why is this not working? And we really ultimately wanted freedom more than anything. I was a nurse. He was a bartender. We lived in Las Vegas, and we just went on this mission to, replace that income and live an abundant life being ourselves. I'm a huge advocate for the fact that there's a million ways to grow a business. And if it fits your personality, you're going to wake up inspired and feeling amazing in your body to take that action and live in that divine flow and really spend your time doing what you love. And so one of the reasons we want to automate so much and do so many really high tech things is that we want to spend time with the people that we love. And we want to look back on this life and know that we spent it doing the things that we want to do instead of, punching a time clock and living in hope, but we wanted to like actually manifest the future that we were talking about, And so long story short, we hired coaches. We popped into, higher ticket coaching, did lots and lots of sales calls. I remember doing 20 sales calls that ended in a no. And I just remember thinking like, I can't do this. And then I released all that attachment to the outcome and like really just allowed myself to be a woman of service and help as many people as possible. And when I shifted that, sales just started coming in. We crushed our first couple months as high ticket coaches. And then we ran a really cool cutting edge quantum mindset focused program for a long time. And then we started adding funnels and ads and high tech to that because we tend to be a magnet to what I like to call uniquely niched coaches, spiritual coaches, faith-based coaches, people who help people with happiness and really more like fluffy results. And they need to bring that tangible messaging into what they're doing, and those tangible results, they need to like really communicate that more clearly. And so we just kept investing in the highest level knowledge we could find and building a really high tech program that we ran with for a long time. And then when January came, we said, AI boom is among us. Like we've got like 24 to 36 months to set a massive footprint in a space where we want to live for the rest of our lives. And like, it's go time right now. And when we rolled out Mass AI, we launched and we quickly like kept quadrupling and doubling our monthly revenue. And we really skyrocketed. And I directly relate that to the use of AI. So when you guys asked me to speak, I was so excited because the way it all wraps together for me is that if we can use these tools correctly, maximize them to their fullest potential, that's when we can automate things, wake up to sales, wake up to unexpected cash flow, like really attract the right kind of people who are going to be with us for the long term and get killer results in our programs. And then what does that ultimately relate to or translate to is like time.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, that's how you get your time back. And so that's my background. My husband and I work together. He built Mass AI. I just use it. I tell people all the time that they give me way too much credit because I'm married to him. They think I really understand how it works. When I really don't. I just know that it works and I use it and I get the results out of it. And I like to be that bridge between the people who don't really get the tech, but they want to get the results with the tech. And so I just keep trying to bridge that gap and help people use it, and use AI in general and get the most out of it.
I'm vibing so hard with this because, I think it's unusual in like the very best possible way because, I come from a corporate background, which is very like stiff upper lip, from finance in particular, biotech, very pale saying. And I think that there's this real push against things that feel within like the corporate world, within the professional world, like any feelings are poo-pooed, like, oh, that's cool, like you need to be a robot, right? And I think that's part of when I was talking about in our opening session about the revolutionary side to AI. It's that we have this kind of crappy system right now and how people work, and most people go and now get money for their families, right? We all got to work. We ain't here to volunteer. Right. And I think that the experience for its work, so it's not necessarily supposed to be 100% fun and exciting all the time, but we've lost this feeling like it needs to be self-fulfilling. And I think that piece gets lost a lot. And actually it's almost like passe to pursue that self-filling. You just got to get your paycheck, right? I mean, who can think about their spirit when they're having a hard time making bills meet? But you are turning that whole thing on its head and saying, no, you have to get the spiritual side, your energy, the fulfilling side sorted before you can pursue that. I mean, that's like, how did you come to that conclusion? Because I think that's been like, it's been a long journey for me and I'm still on it for sure. I just would love to hear a little bit more about like how you guys made that crazy, amazing, beautiful transformation to this now crazy success.
Thank you for asking that. And you're super intuitive to pick up on that because I have gone through it. Like I have had to reprogram a scarcity mindset like you would not believe, to where like we would have massive financial wins. And for 5 minutes, I would be really excited and grateful. And then the next thought would be like, oh, but what now? Like, oh my gosh, immediately back in stress and anxiety. And I've described it before as when I had a job, like I literally would cry my way home from my job. And I absolutely hated it. Like I just felt like I was in the wrong career and I wasn't good enough. And I wanted to bridge that gap so badly. And I obviously did. But during that time, that felt like, I hate to use these terms, but there's nothing else. I felt like depression in that moment. But then as an entrepreneur, I felt anxiety. And I felt like I literally traded one for the other. And I was like, this anxiety is too big because like, how do I keep up with this? It felt like so much pressure to leave that every 2 weeks paycheck behind. It just felt like so much pressure to me, no matter how much money we made. And so I don't talk about it a whole lot because, we're just helping people do better. Like we're really on a fast track. And so is everyone that's coming with us. And so I'm glad you asked because I just think it's really important that we recognize it because I think there's a lot of entrepreneurs that are feeling that way and we don't really openly talk about it, especially because the content that we put out on social media, we know people are liking and trusting us through that content. And there are many people, whether you're doing it or not, it's not easy to put the harder things out there because you subconsciously are afraid to be judged for what's going on. Or you're afraid that, if you feel that way, maybe you're not doing as good as you say you're doing. Or like, there's just so much fear deep down that's driving what people put online. Like when you see, that we only see the best side of people's lives, right? Because as entrepreneurs, we know that people literally are making a buying decision based on what we're talking about. And so it's interesting. Now I'm really happy to talk about it. But when it was hard, it wasn't as easy to talk about that because I thought that I would lose credibility, not being like having crushed it or mastered it already. And once you start to crush it, guess what? You never master it. There's always a next level. You're always working for the next thing. And when you're building a team, your profit's going up, but man, your expenses might be going up too. And like, you're constantly like trying to get to the next level. And I just think it's really important to talk about because the answer to your question is, how did we bridge that gap? How do we overcome that? Well, my husband happens to have like the most positive, insanely fearless mindset. And if it wasn't for him, it would have taken me a lot longer to get there myself. But he will literally call me out every day. I'm like, here's what I'm feeling. Well, okay, then do you want to keep manifesting that? Like, what good is it for you to think that way? And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's right. But also our clients and our partners having access to him, for lack of better terms, like getting that coaching from him consistently, constantly, yes. You can literally see the results changing for people. And so, you know, honestly, my husband is a humongous part of that. You have to take on that fearless, we're going for it. We're going to we're going to the moon, or we're going to say we tried, and like nothing's going to stop us. I really do think that's what it takes to get the kind of results that most people are looking to achieve.
Kind of like it's a little bit fake it to make it, blind faith, damn the torpedoes, you know, what is it? Damn the torpedoes straight ahead, or whatever that expression is.
That's a good way
to
put it.
It is, you know, and I've been, like, I was over at an organization that used to say, fire and then aim. That one used to bother me a little bit. I'm like, no, let's aim a little bit.
That's his term. That's my husband's term. He says ready, fire, aim. Actually, we talk about it all the time.
It's you know, for me, it's uncomfortable, but you know what? If you get to a point where you overanalyze till you paralyze, I'm Southern. I have a billion. I have like so many of these things.
I like that one.
You overanalyze till you paralyze yourself. You're just like, and you let all those possibilities. And for me, on a spiritual level, there's a Sylvia Plath. She's really talking about depression. She'll put you in depression reading some of her stuff, but she has this thing that she talks about where she imagined herself sitting on a branch of a plum tree. And as she's imagining her life, she sees these giant plums. She could be an Olympian. She could be a mother with children. She'd be an incredible writer. She could be a businesswoman. She could be all these incredible things. And as she's sitting and trying to consider which of the plums to pluck, she watches each one wither up and fall and die.
Oh, wow.
And it's this very compelling, I still get the frisson from that, because I relate as a woman, relate so hard to that, right? And like, because we have to be everything to everybody. And I just really, I applaud you for finding a good man. Let me know if he has a brother or a good friend, sister. I'm just telling you, because I think having a good partner, and as a woman demanding that we have a good partner and seeing those examples, so important. And I love this quote, this piece here that Linda says, do the thing and then course correct it too. Yes. Well, isn't that the truth? And I think I needed to hear this because we're having all these technical challenges with Swap Card. And I'm like, oh my God, this beautiful thing. But you know, this is what you do. You know, I told Ashley last night, we're talking about before this thing, and I said, you know what, sister, let's just remember, we are not saving lives here. If we mess up, nobody dies.
There's no emergency.
That's why I did not go into neurosurgery, because I don't want that kind of responsibility.
I know. Right. So I'm with you.
I applaud you and your husband in having that, you know, smart audacity to go after it and chase it. So I want to know, because I know you guys must come up against people who are skeptical, right? You know,
wait, you cut out right when you said the
skeptical, who might be skeptical about energies, and, you know, like, oh, I don't know, I don't believe in anything, you know. Do you guys just have like this policy of, you know what, do your thing, send in love to the universe, you come to us if you want, or is there a little bit of trying to bring the horses to the water trough a little?
That's such a great question. The answer is we don't even attract those kind of people that don't relate. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about the world in general, is that you're going to be attracted to some things, and you're going to be not attracted to a whole bunch of things. And you're going to like one food and I'm going to like a different food. And so you can have all of that one and I'll take this other one. And that's just how life is. So I've never felt that pressure around like helping people understand that AI is not danger, not in this sense, in the sense of AI marketing and content creation and all the things here. Like I've never ever felt the need to like explain why, because I'm just working on putting the right message out to the people who already get that and are looking for a proper solution. You know,
there's plenty of people that need that message, right?
Tons. Yeah.
Which brings me to my next question, sister. All right, this is where I get the hard questions out. With all of the people that you see and interact with, both you and your husband, what would you say is the most common piece of advice that you give? Or another way to put this question, what is the one thing that if you could share to the world, the one thing you could share with the world about what you guys do and about your mission that would help them? What is it?
Okay. I love this question.
I told you it was a big question. I
love this question. I love it. And without the time to like really open up and show you how our system works, I'll improvise and people can picture what I'm saying. And by the way, we have a trial if you want to look at it, if you want to play with it, and that'll plug some holes. But here's the thing. Some tools are built to really thoroughly provide a long-term solution to something, and other tools are used to like quick fix little things. And I think the biggest misconception in the market right now is that actually, let me tell you how Mass works, and then it'll really answer this clearly. Mass AI was built to create content campaigns. And what that means is just like an email campaign would work. And I wrote down a lot of things Brittany said on the last segment because it was directly pertaining to what we do as well. And I loved her segment. So shout out to you, Brittany, by the way. So Mass will create based on all of our knowledge and all of our investing in sales psychology, lead generation, and marketing. It's built to create content funnels that are multiple pieces of content that go together. So if you think of like an email campaign, like let's just pretend you have a 30 email campaign, like every day, new person comes into your world. This is a really simple example. Let's just pretend you're going to nurture them for 30 days and you have that email funnel set up, that sequence, and they're going through a client journey. And typically somewhere throughout that time, they become a client. What we did was we took that premise and we built it into content. And we said, hey, what if we built the same premise into when someone finds my Facebook, my Instagram, and my YouTube, I could create a content campaign where they're going through a campaign and it's leading them from one step to another. And they're going through a buyer's journey. And at some point in content on social media, that's when they have that breakthrough moment. They go, okay, I need this. This is what I want. They purchase it because the whole idea is that ourselves, our partners, and our affiliates wake up to hands-off sales. We really want to automate the whole entire thing. And we've successfully done that with probably about 70 sales since January.
Wow. Amazing.
And so I think to bring that back, which is, I'm so grateful to bring that back to your question directly. The biggest tip that we give is like, here's an actual campaign and a system that will build that for you. And what most people are doing is they're hearing the term AI and they're finding a little tool that they can use. And they're taking the hard, tedious work that they do by hand and they're plugging in a tool and they're making it like just a little bit better. And then they're using that as content. And then tomorrow they're doing that. And then tomorrow they're doing that. But it's still random spaghetti posting, we call it, like just throwing content out there and like praying and hoping that it works. And so just to wrap that up, my biggest tip is that you don't want to take a content flow that's not quite working and try to plug it into AI one little bit at a time and get it to work. I recommend using something that's built to create an entire system, because when you take the time to do that, that's going to translate to really consistent sales over time.
Absolutely. That's amazing. I don't know. I mean, we could share your screen. I don't want to put you on the spot. We didn't really give you, told you we could do that. But if you want to give it a little demo, it doesn't hurt my feelings.
Yeah, let's see if I can. Let's see.
Not to put you on the spot. But
no, you're good.
I gotta see it.
While Brittany was speaking, I was actually wondering if you might ask me to share screen. So I'm somewhat prepared to do that.
And in the meantime, guys, we do have people. I see, like, they're so great on the chat and stuff. If they have any questions, you guys don't leave it just to me while she's pulling it up. If y'all have any questions for Amber about her incredible experience or Mass AI, let us know. Don't be shy. Don't leave it all on me, because I will fill up the whole time. I do not.
I'd be more than happy to answer questions. Okay, let's see if I can. How do I get this?
Oh, I got you.
You got me? Awesome. Yeah. You can see. Okay, so this is actually just a couple Canva slides, but I want to first show someone why they would consider doing this, and then I'll share screen again. And actually, I can just change tabs, and I'll show you how it actually looks. So this is what it looks like when we sign in to Mass AI. And this, you might not be able to read this, but I will give you guys a trial if you'd like to try it, and you can actually create content for yourself. This is what some of the outputs look like. It's going to really help you dial in your ideal client avatar. Even if you've dialed that in, this app will do research for you as to like the deeper level of what this person's thinking. When you talk about like what's keeping someone up at night, what is your true desires of this ideal client avatar that can change over time, right? And we always want to stay ahead of the market, and we always want to tap in with key terms that are hitting. Like, for instance, AI started hitting real hard all throughout the last 6 months. So if we plug content in there, people are going to recognize those terms. The Mass will also create sales pages. Here's a sales page that it created. This was an opt-in to a live event / webinar, something that we did live and now is on Evergreen. But the system we used to write all these headlines, subheadlines, and all the bullet points based on what people are searching for and purchasing right now. And Mass actually gave us the data to build this sales page. And this opt-in page, rather, it had a 48% opt-in rate. And then it went up to like a 63% opt-in rate. And we were like, okay, well, this was also delivered to a warm audience. So let's do it straight to a cold. Oh, that's right. 63 warm, 48 cold audience, completely cold audience. Almost 50% of the people opted into the live because of the copy that was written on that first page.
That's crazy. And I was like, I actually have open rates. The average open rate for an advertisement general is it's actually higher than I thought it was. Is about 21%.
Yeah, that's higher than I would think too.
Yeah. So pretty interesting. I got my little stickies.
Here's what we call an SLO, a self-liquidating offer. This would be a small offer somewhere between like $7 and $100 that you would run cold ads to. And we got a really high conversion rate on this. We did a $17 offer, and this led to about $56K in front end sales and $135 in back end high ticket sales.
Oh, Lord.
So I want to show you that because I want to show you the why. Like, I like to show the how, and also why would you even want to even see how that could work for you. Those are the kind of numbers as to why. So this is what Mass looks like once you sign in. It's really funny. My husband does a lot of the explaining of this. But like I said earlier, I just use it. But it'll do things like create Facebook posts, create Instagram posts, Twitter threads, and we're building carousels in right now, which is really, really unique because it'll actually create the image. It will create a VSL for you. We're building in an email system right now. And then, of course, like I showed you, it'll create those landing pages and sales pages. And what we do is we go to templates over here and we search for whatever we want. Oh, Facebook group systems. This will tell you like what 3 Facebook group questions would be good to capture the data when someone comes into your group that's going to lead to the highest conversions. And you can even sell a low ticket offer in question number 3 of a Facebook group. I don't know if you knew that, but we've been doing that for years. And this will tell you like what to name the group based on that ideal client avatar, what kind of content to put in it. But if I just wanted to do like a story post, I could search for that. And then to give you a real brief example of how this works, I'm going to create a profile based on the person that I'm talking to. And then I'm just going to run the system and give it a couple minutes. And what it'll do is it'll create some content for me. And it doesn't totally replace copywriting. But for me, what it does is it writes things I never would have thought of myself. One thing people are afraid of, right, is that AI will take your personality out of content and you'll sound like a robot. When you asked me earlier if people are afraid of anything or if we talk about anything, it's usually like, hey, AI, when used correctly, can amplify your personality versus take away from your personality. Because I don't know about you, but I'm not that creative. I'm a very logical, strategic spreadsheet number cruncher mind. And I don't sit down and just blank page, like write the most beautiful thing. But when I use this, I can write things and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. But then I can add my spin and I can make it my own. So I'll just read you this really quick little snippet that it wrote, like literally without any thought. And then I'll show you, there's one really important thing I want to show you that I did yesterday. So this just says, I remember when I first stumbled on a Facebook post that changed the way I approached content creation on social media forever. The post was titled, "Get the Viral Effect in Your Content Without Spending All Day on Social Media." It was a simple statement, but it resonated with me. I was struggling. See, I would change this up a little bit. I was struggling to balance my time between content creation and managing my social media presence. The promise of achieving virality without spending every waking moment on social media was intriguing to me, to say the least. So I decided to dive deeper and explore the messaging. It was a journey into the world of strategic content creation, understanding the nuances of audience engagement, leveraging the power of timing and trends. The more I delved into it, the more I realized it wasn't about churning out content nonstop, but rather about creating content that resonated with my audience. Content that was timely, relevant, and engaging. Like, it just wrote that without me putting any thought into what I plugged in. On the left is the input, on the right is the output. So the funny thing about this is that I could spend an hour per week just plugging a couple thoughts in and end up with content for all social platforms for like the next couple weeks if I just gave it some really good thought. How cool is that?
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Thank you.
Like, one thing, so for me, it's been a challenge as an entrepreneur because I'm totally new starting out. And I am not ashamed to say this because I think everyone kind of makes some rookie mistakes when they're first starting out. So I will own up to it. But I got I use Seamless AI. I'm not even afraid to say their name. I purchased like $2,000 worth of subscription to help me generate leads. And really I bought it like it hook, line, and sinker, that because of it, the AI nature of it, that they would be warm leads, right? Like I had it in my head. It wasn't really in my head. I was thinking it was a shortcut, but it was a shortcut. There is none, I guess, is really the answer that I'm hearing, is like, you just have to build up your loyalty and your group from the content. And really, that's how it should be. It shouldn't be where you can just go out and spend a bunch of money and get a bunch of emails. But for anyone, I mean, I will very much own up to that mistake, because I think a lot more people do that and then don't own up to it. And then a bunch of other people wind up doing it. And that's part of the reason why we're spammed to death. Totally. Is because people who don't know any better. And I just honestly, I didn't know any better. And so I think like being able to move away from just straight up lead gen and into more of this sort of solution, which does lead back into you're warming up your leads, you're creating a more intentional two-way engaging relationship with them. And I think that's also kind of the hidden power of this, because there's no, like, you guys don't really do lead generation, right? It's really like what I'm assuming, which is building amazing content, and through that you have like lead magnets and things, right?
I would say our leads come from our content. Like our content creates leads. That's
great. So just for everyone, so y'all know, don't buy any contact lists, even if they tell you it's AI and it's super cool and everybody's all on board. It's not true. It's
I agree. Yeah, I totally agree.
Chris had a question.
Yeah.
Amber, what are some of the recent breakthroughs using Mass AI?
Ooh, oh my gosh. Okay.
Get out your brag sheet, girlfriend. Let's see it.
yesterday I created some content for a client in the network marketing space. I ran through what we call our start campaigns. There's a lot of technical terms in here, but what I want to show you guys is that I want you to hear this. If you're familiar with the network marketing space, maybe you love it, maybe you hate it. Either way, this will be kind of funny. Okay. Because network marketers get a bad rep for like spamming their friends and family and trying to like persuade people they love into buying stuff they don't need. It's just a truth in the market. I'm a huge fan of the industry. I love it. I still do network marketing today, but I automate it. And so when I read this, when I ran some content, and here's some of the things I got. This is the ideal client. Network marketers who have exhausted their personal network and need new leads. Okay, that's very true. Network marketers who are looking for a sustainable way to grow their downline. They want to automate too. Network marketers who have been unsuccessful in recruiting in their personal network. And then it gives me all these topic ideas that I can then refine into an actual campaign. Things like feeling overwhelmed with the constant need to recruit new members, fear of rejection when approaching prospects. And a lot of the network marketing industry can translate pretty closely into the coaching industry because it can be uncomfortable to talk to people. It can feel really hard and heavy to wake up in the morning and feel like your job is to talk to people or you're not going to make any money and you better do a good job because it's all weighing on your shoulders, which kind of goes back to the beginning of this conversation. But in the network marketing space, it's very much like a numbers game. Talk to more people, more. You're making a commission, so you're not making 100% of the profit. And so if you're not doing a lot, you're not going to make a lot for a while. And so when it spit out all these things like feeling isolated as friends and family start avoiding your calls, I mean, that's pretty extreme, but it's actually true. And so the reason I'm sharing it is I was really impressed with what it gave me. Fear of being perceived as a pushy salesperson by your loved ones. Oh, that's terrible. Yeah, that is a terrible feeling. I've been there.
That one. Everybody who's had anything to sell, a ticket, a service, or business has been there. I promise you.
Yep. Difficulty sustaining your business growth due to a limited personal network. Meaning what? Feeling like you don't have enough friends on your friends list, feeling like you don't have enough members in your group, putting out content consistently, not getting a lot of engagement. And why is that? Because you're not speaking to the heart of what they're going through. Mass was built so the messaging gets better, so that when you put content out, people go, oh, that's me. I will literally get messages like, I prayed for you last night. Like, how did you come into my world? And I'm doing the same thing. I've been doing the same thing for years, but I finally put content out that they can hear it. They can hear it because it's words that were created in order for people to actually like hear it. It's just magical to me. I don't do anything different. I just use a system that can speak it more clearly than I can by myself. So that would be the quick answer to what are the big breakthroughs with Mass lately, is just how simple it is to when you actually use it, you get a plethora, like stacks upon stacks of content. It can last you a really long time with very little work.
It's so cool. I mean, it's so cool what you guys have built, both you and hubby. Amazing. Well done, guys.
Thank you.
You know, I do want to touch on this note that Chris has said that not many solopreneurs can do the touch points that Alex Hormozi and Gary Vee can do. I don't know Alex Hormozi. I think I'm familiar with Gary Vee. But maybe would you explain that comment? I mean, no, it's Chris's, but I think you get it. Would you explain the comment a little bit and then maybe have an answer to it?
Absolutely. Is there a way I can stop my screen share by chance?
Oh, girl, I got you, girl.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Amazing. I love this question. Alex Hormozi is the author of this book right here. I will promote it for him because he's awesome.
Perfect.
Alex Hormozi is really unique because he started business in a totally different way. He wasn't a content creator at first. He became a content creator not that long ago. And when he did, he exploded. And here's why. Gary Vee too. These guys are pumping content. So I had a breakthrough maybe like a year ago. I was like, if there was one thing I could plug in my business, what would it be? And it's like my reach, right? Everything else is pretty good. The program's great. Clients are happy. Sales are great. That system works. But how do I get this in more people's hands? Well, these two, that's why she asked, they nailed it. They have who knows, a 6-figure monthly budget for a team that can create that much content. They have someone videotaping everything they do and then making shorts and then making long video and then putting captions on it and then designing it, and they're like full-time, year-long, massive teams. And that's actually the whole reason why Christian, my husband, created Mass. And in our webinar, we talk about Hormozi and Gary Vee. And we talk about what it would take to get that number of touch points. I mean, if you don't have a 6-figure monthly budget, which almost hardly anyone does, let's be honest, then if you don't have 23 hours a day to create content yourself, I mean, which nobody does, we have to sleep, right? Then you're just not going to get the number of touch points that can really create that viral effect. And truly, I give all the credit for our growth this year to this system and to my husband for thinking of that and finding a solution. Because even when you have a lot of people have authority established, we've been in the game for a while and we still need to grow our audience and we still need to create that viral effect. And if you're working with a client who's come in and they haven't been in the game for a long time, they don't have authority. If a coach teaches you that, if I were to teach every client of ours that they could do the same exact thing as me and get the same result, that would not be true, because I have spent years building that. We need a tool to create that number of touch points, a couple pieces of content a day, at least, making sure they're good, making sure the headline's good, making sure the image is good, making sure it draws that person in. It's abundantly, easily clear what their next step will be, and then allowing them to nurture themselves and go through your own process. Because two things, that not only feels better to them to go through their own client journey and go through your stuff. That's great for them. Amazing. Guess what? It's also great for you, because then you don't feel like the need to pressure around selling them something. They're going to go through their own journey. Having automated sales is the greatest thing that's ever happened for our business. And I'm definitely convinced that what we talked about today is the reason why.
Absolutely. Oh, it might be just me. Okay, you're back. I did put your link, the free gift thing that you sent along to Ashley, and I put it in there.
Thank you so much.
So people have it. And I don't know if there were any other questions. I know we have 15 minutes left, but I like to give people a little time in breather, plus, have a chance to eat something before your next. But Amber, definitely need to talk to you about Impact. I need you to come to Impact, and I might even get your help selling some tickets. And for those of you who are interested in purchasing tickets to Impact, please do check out. There's the link for there. And then, is this for someone just starting out? Oh, that's a good question.
It's such a good question, because I was thinking about it today. I was thinking about this today. If I were just starting out, would I like to use a proven system that makes it easier, or would I like to go through a couple years of hard, tedious work and then get the system later? I would definitely want it right from the start. And this is something I didn't mention, Haley, because it never came up. But our system is different in another way too. Look at that. Give me a second. Cool. I'm learning how to drive this thing. I'm getting faster.
So cool.
Okay, yeah. I'm getting way faster. So we run Mass AI actually in a community, in a program. So another thing that's way different about using this kind of tech is that a lot of people buy tech like this, and then you get it and you sign in, you're using it, but you're not getting the best result out of it, or you put it on the shelf and you don't really know how to use it to its maximum potential. That's why we put it in a program. And we have coaches, including myself and my husband, 4 days a week that people can tune into, and we create our content together. I run a mindset session once a week. Christian teaches the updates and what's new inside the system. And then our tech Jedi, Greg and Megan on our team, we're all there so that when people are using it, they can actually ask questions, say, hey, I got this output. What do you think, Christian? What would you do to get this to sound more like that? And then he teaches what to put in, and then they rerun the system again, and they get out exactly what they want. So the way I look at it is, would you rather buy a book and learn it on your own? Or would you rather sit with the author every day while he teaches you what's inside of that book? And that's what you get to do in Mass, because we all do it together. And it really is a family. We have the coolest community. I'm so grateful for the people who've decided to join us in this movement. So to answer the question, is it good for someone new? Absolutely.
And go check it out. And I'm assuming if they sign up with to your free thing, then they'll get all of the information about your webinars and your, the calls and stuff. Get on your list.
Yeah, it's really cool how it works. So if you sign up for the free thing, you will get a feedback call on my calendar. So we'll get to meet privately, and you can tell me a little bit how the app worked for you and anything that you'd like added to it, because we're committed to truly building the best app on the planet, the best AI tech on the planet. So you'll meet me that way, and then I can find out, what would work best for you next.
I love it. Amber, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm going to put in one last use code, Great Debate, for 20% off your Impact ticket. Go check out her Mass AI. And don't forget, you can connect with Amber through Swap Cards. So send her a message, tell her how wonderful she is. I'm sure she'll appreciate hearing that. But thank you guys so much. And thank you, Amber. I've just so enjoyed that. I forgot we were doing an event. I was just sitting here having a good time with my friends.
Same here. Thank you, Haley.
Thanks, girl. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.
All right. Bye.
Bye.